Hello friends, I'm Heidi with Heavenly Minded Homeschool, and I thought I would give you guys a little tour of what is in my homeschool cart. This will be our 15th homeschool year, and I am currently teaching 3 kiddos. I've got my 3 girls, 9th grade, 6th grade, and 2nd grade. So for us, what are we using? What do we have? How are we keeping it all stored and put together? Let me show you. So I don't know about you, but I like keeping things simple. I like keeping them just easy to keep up on. I like having our homeschool day be rich and full and, go into so many areas of our lives. But the stuff, I like to keep it more of just the essentials and some basics and not necessarily have it feel like homeschool's taken over my house. Now, some people have amazing homeschool rooms and they have all these great spaces and things like that. Our family doesn't have that much space, so we do everything right here at our kitchen table. And so I wanted something easy that I could access the things that we needed. And so I did go ahead and get one of these little metal carts, and I will link everything down below. And this is what I have filled ours with for our back to homeschool here for the 2025-2026 school year. In addition to this, I did get a great little storage box for each of my girls that they can keep some of their personal essentials in, so I can show that to you guys as well. This is it. This is all of our school supplies that we have purchased. Of course, we'll add some things throughout the school year, but it will still continue to fit into the system, so that way it's not just mass amounts of stuff. I used to have closets that I would fill with shelves and put so many resources in and so many different things, and I know sometimes it's really hard, especially as the moms, as we're looking at all of the great stuff that's out there and we're seeing all these amazing rooms and we just want to do all of the things. And so I try to rein myself back in and say, hey, what matters? What do I actually need? What do I actually want to keep up with? And I don't want to have to keep up with a whole bunch of stuff. So this is where we end up landing. So I got this great little rolly cart here, and I found it. It was a great deal. Like I said, I'll link it down below. I got it off of Walmart and it shipped within a couple of days. It took me just a matter of moments to put it together. It was super duper easy. The girls and I, our town just got a Hobby Lobby, which we have been a good hour away from Hobby Lobby for the past decade, and my girls and I popped in there the other day, so we did pick up a couple of cute things. Luckily they were on sale. We were on the right week, so we did get some fun little sparkles and things to put on it. I got a cute little sign that I really liked, and honestly, we put magnets on the back and we spend more time knocking it off than anything else, but it says be kind, be thoughtful, be genuine, but most of all be thankful. So my daughter and I found this in the store and we thought it was cute because it is so much the core values of the things that we try to accomplish here in our homeschool. So we did get that to put on here and it makes it look cute, although like I said, we knock it down more than anything else, so I'm just going to set it off to the side. Starting here on the top, I have my Bible. Now, we often for our homeschool use the NLT translation, but the stuff we're using this year uses the ESV, which is a favorite translation for our family anyways. But I did go ahead this year and I got myself and my girls, I got us all a new ESV translation Bible. Their NLT Bibles are like held together with duct tape. They spend so much time in there doing different stuff. So it really was time for a new Bible anyways. I got me this great journaling study Bible. I like to be able to leave notes, especially using it for homeschool and having things on hand. And then for my youngest, I got her, she's 7, and so I got her just this Holy Bible for Kids in the compact version that they have here, so it's really easy. It kind of reminds me of the Action Bible it's got some sheets in it with some imagery and stuff, but we got her own Bible that she can have. And for our older girls are in 6th grade and 9th grade. I got them the ESV Student Study Bible. I love study Bibles, so that way we can have some notes and maps and charts and extra resources and stuff in here. So that's what they got. So next here on the top rack, I did get these fun acrylic dividers. I thought about just getting some cheap ones from Dollar Tree or something like that. I looked at Walmart, but Walmart's were actually too deep for my cart here. And I was like, you know what, if we're gonna get something, I'm gonna get it once, and I wanna get something that is going to look a little nicer, considering this cart is going to live in our dining room, okay? It literally lives over here next to our pantry and like my coffee station. So I wanted something that I would enjoy getting to look at every single day, considering I have nowhere else for it to go. And so I did get these fun little acrylic dividers, and on the top here I put our core books. So I got 4 dividers, 1 for me and 3 for each of my girls. In mine, I have some extra notebooks, some extra folders. I have my planner that I'm using. Sometimes I make my own planner. The past couple of years, I've just been picking up these teacher planners from Walmart. They're really inexpensive and I like them. They're great quality. Obviously, some of the things, it's for a government school type public school teacher, and so some of the things don't apply to me, but I like it nonetheless, and I've been using it a lot. So I've got my planner in here. I've got my kind of teacher's guide from Gather Round with our unit study that we're doing. And then each of my girls, these are their core school books that they're going to be working through this year. So they have their notebooks, they've got their lesson books, they've got their math books, they've got their devotions. All of those are right here. And I like it because I can put it on the top shelf. It literally is the exact width to hold my Bible and then the different dividers with all of our stuff in it. And so everything is in here nice and snug. It's not, going anywhere or getting crazy, and it's very easy for us to grab. Even the 7-year-old, she can come over here, she can grab her stuff out of the cart, and it doesn't goof anything up. Remember, when you're planning your stuff, how can the kids access it and still keep it neat and tidy with their little hands that maybe aren't as careful as yours would be getting stuff in and out of whatever system it is that you set up? Always a reminder I give myself. So I think we've got a good setup here on the top shelf. All of our books, the quickest things we're going to need to grab, they're on the top, they're organized, they're separated, but they're easy to access. So down here on our second shelf, of course, I have the girls' Bibles. Mine was a little too big to be able to get in and out of there, but I have their Bibles down there for them. I picked up a few of these from Dollar Tree or Walmart. They all have them. I think actually Walmart's are cheaper now that Dollar Tree has become $1.25, $1.50, $3, $5 tree. So I have some backup sticky notes. I have one with some extra pencils in it, a few items like that. So I do like to keep these so that way stuff isn't just getting thrown into the shelves of the cart, but they can have a place to go and to live. Again, just giving everything a place so that way it has somewhere to call home and hopefully not become an overwhelmed mess. I have a couple additional books in here for my youngest. We are going to be reading through the Paddington Bear series, and so in our big bookshelf I have the rest of the set, but we've got the first one out here. And then I found this sweet little book at the thrift store. I love finding books at the thrift store, especially old ones, and this is really sweet. 1949, it was gifted by this person's cousin, so I thought, I love when you can find the little notes in here. But it's this really sweet kind of just made for kids telling of the whole gospel, and it's kind of broken down into daily little lessons. And so I forgot I had this. It was in my room on a shelf, and so I had been wanting to get into this, so I went ahead and pulled this out so my daughter and I can check this out. You guys will have to let me know. First Steps for Little Feet and Gospel Paths by Charles Foster, so from the 40s. So this was really cool. I'm excited to go through this with her thrift store books. The best, absolute best. And then on the second shelf here, when we were in Hobby Lobby, I grabbed this pencil holder for, I think it was like $3. I got it because it is uniquely different than anything else that we have in our homeschool cart. And it's because it's going to hold my writing utensils. Okay, mom life for real. Everybody is always stealing my pens. The kids are always losing theirs somehow and needing some from me. So that's why I do have an extra box in here with some extra pencils. They are different colors. I've color coded. Everybody has certain stuff so that way they know what's theirs. And so the extras are in here. So if you need an extra, it's because you lost yours, but at least we have some and they're in here. And then I have mine that I'm keeping together. I like to be able to go through my girls' work, especially now that the older girls, obviously they do most everything independently, but I like to still be able to go through and look at their work and make notes to them. And so I picked up these fun like glitter pens, but they still have enough ink in them that you can really see what you're writing. And so it is my goal for all of my notes that I leave, any corrections I make or point out, I'm going to make them here with these glitter pens, and I want it to be drastically different. So that way as the girls are flipping through their booklets, they can easily see the notes and remarks and things that I've made. And so that's where I've got kind of, I've got a pen, a pencil, a highlighter, kind of some basics, and then my marking pens here for correcting their stuff. And so I have mine in a handy dandy, very different container so that hopefully, fingers crossed, I make it through this school year with at least my writing utensils in here, because nothing is worse than sitting down needing to do something and you are completely out of any pen, any pencil, anything to write with because the kids have commandeered them all. So that is what we have here on our second shelf. And then down below on the third shelf is going to contain supplies for our specific unit that we're studying. So for us here, the first couple months of school, we are doing the artist unit through Gather Round Homeschool. And so I've gone through and pulled up the document of all the different art supplies and things that are suggested for the kids' individual activities that they can do here throughout the lessons. And my girls love to craft. They are constantly creating something. And so in their rooms, they have, lots of different art supplies and art projects that they're working on. But I wanted to make sure that the stuff that we were buying for school was set apart. It was set somewhere else so that way it didn't just become the next project. And so everything that we've put here in the cart, the kiddos know these are for school projects. They're not, come and help yourself. And so I've just kind of tucked them in. I got a couple of little bins from Dollar Tree and just put them down on the bottom shelf. And so our goal for that is we plan to do these gathered round series throughout the entire school year. And then that bottom shelf of our cart can really just be reserved for those supplies we want to have on hand for when we come across those opportunities in our lesson books. So it makes it really, really easy here to just have this cart. It's simple, it's cute. I can just roll it around with us if we're sitting here at the table doing stuff, if we're going into the living room. Heck, if we're going to go do school out on the patio, I can roll it out there. And so being able to just kind of drag this around with us as we go, but yet have it clear, organized, easy to get to, and still look nice enough to be sitting out in the middle of your house. I really thought it was a great balance. I've been quite excited for this. So this is what we have in the cart. Let me give you a sneak peek into how I'm organizing the kids' individual resources and things that they have. So for the kiddos, I just scooped these boxes up from Hobby Lobby. I think I paid $10 a piece for them. Luckily, they had 3 colors there when we went in, and I have 3 girls. So I don't know if they have more of these. I was trying to look for a solution that would really work well to give my kids a space to keep their stuff together, to kind of have that bit of ownership and responsibility of these are your materials, your things that you need to have on hand and be responsible for, and do so in a way that would be simple. I didn't want a system that would be overwhelming. And so I always try to remind myself of that, especially when we're setting up for a new school year. What is a simple system? Too simple to fail. Sometimes I am guilty of doing things that are just so intricate, so detailed. I think they work great for me, and then they're a mess for my kids. And so I wanted something that could be easy enough but organized enough. And so we settled on these boxes. What I love is they have this insert here that you can pull out, and so the kids, even when they're sitting down, we have their boxes and we just have them stacked here next to the china hutch, so that way they can just pull them out while we're sitting here at the table, and they can take these trays out if they need to and have all of their supplies here. They've got their Play-Doh for different projects, highlighters, pencils, erasers, every sort of marker, coloring utensil they could need, their own glue, their own scissors. I like to give each kid their own thing, back to school time is a great time to be able to go and pick up these supplies for super, super cheap. I usually pick up a couple of each items for each kid while they're on super sale. And then the extra ones I just put in a box and store down here in the buffet, so that way they're ready and available for later in the year when we need to restock. But I give each kid their own thing, and every kid gets their initial written on it with a Sharpie. So your pair of scissors has your initial on it, your glue has your initial on it, everything has it, so that way everybody again knows where their stuff is, they can keep up on it. And when we sit down to pull out projects, we don't have, she took my scissors or this or that, you know, those little things that come up, and you know, I lost mine, and it's like, well, you got to go find them, find the ones with your initial on it. So I'm hoping that this will be really nice just to keep their stuff in here. Just, it's got a few different compartments, which is great, but again, not so intricate that it's kind of a pain in the rear to keep up on. So they have that in there. And then for their bottom section here, you still have this whole tub that can hold books in it. And so my youngest has her special writing pad for some things. This is more of their independent stuff that they'll be doing. And so while their lesson books are on the cart, their kind of individual writing notebooks and things are here in their own little caddies, their own little buckets. So she's got her special writing pad. Each of the kids has one of these sketch pads from Walmart. I love these because they can decorate and slide their own picture here in the front. And then it's nice and spiral bound, but for all of the different art projects that we're going to be doing with our Gathered Round classes that we're doing, the different lessons there with the artist booklet, they have theirs here that they can keep everything nice and together. I hate when there's kind of sheets that just get everywhere, so we've got something nice that we can keep it together. She picked out a top ramen folder. My 7-year-old did, so she's got that in here. Not really sure what she's going to use it for. I had all of my kids pick out 2 regular lined notebooks to have. They're going to be doing some different copywriting, some spelling practice and things like that. My 7-year-old picked out this pretty pony setup here that she did. And she also picked out monster truck sharks. So I know very clearly which ones are hers because they're either monster truck sharks or cute, pretty unicorn pony. So that was fun, letting the kids pick out their choices. And of course, top ramen. So letting them pick out their choices of the things that they want to have. But each of the girls have this in their boxes where they have their individual notebooks down in the bottom. Their top tray here with all of their core essentials. Everything goes into this box. It nicely and neatly closes, has a handle on top. If we're going to go sit outside on the patio and do our notebooking, or they want to go sit out in the field, we're going to lay out a blanket in the grass and work on our watercolor projects or whatever it might be. I love that they can just grab their little caddies here. They can carry them out with them, and then we just take them and store them right down here. Easy to grab, easy to access, but also out of the way. So again, our homeschool is here. We have what we need. It's organized. It's easy to get to access, to do all of the things, but I don't feel like it's taking over every surface of our house and we can't move in it. So that's what we're doing here this year for our Back to Homeschool. That's what my cart looks like. That's what the kiddos' boxes look like. And I hope that it can be a little bit of encouragement for you as you're putting together your homeschool year. You'll have to let me know, how are you organizing your stuff, right? Do you have a whole room that you can dedicate to it? How are you setting your stuff up? And again, if you haven't already, I've put together a resource, my Back to Homeschool Basics. And if you would like to get that, it is free. I have it linked down below. There's a video in there. There's a little booklet. It's just all those tips and tricks and things that I like to do at each of our Back to Homeschool seasons to really just set us up for great success. And having everything that we need in its own place, in its own purpose, is definitely a key piece of that. Have a wonderful day. Let's have a great homeschool year this year. If there's anything we can ever do, leave me a comment. Let me know. Otherwise, I'll leave you this video right up here. I'll see you there. Bye, friends.